I was told by someone that I was being a little bit too hard on Lizzo, and I went back and listened to the last video that I did, and I wanted to clarify a couple of things. The very first thing I wanted to clarify is that I do not hate Lizzo personally. I don't know the sister. I never met her before in my life. I don't know her. I wish her the best. I'll just say this, that her act, in terms of what I saw, just that particular act was not my cup of tea. I don't think that everything that she puts out is horrible. Everything she puts out is bad. Every rap song that she's ever done is horrendous. I'll have to listen to more of it. A friend of mine told me that her album actually is pretty good. So what I'll do is, to be fair, is that I'll listen to her album. Next time I'm in my car, I'll listen to her album, and I'll make a decision in terms of what I think about her music based on that. So, to be fair, because it is a little bit unfair, it was a little bit unfair of me to just look at one performance she did on television and make a judgment based on that. And I'm pretty sure that Lizzo has worked hard to be where she is, so I'll give her that. I'll give her, credit in terms of the fact that she's worked hard to be where she is, and I do wish her the best in terms of her success as an artist. So, but with that said, I do not take back the statements I said in terms of trying to endorse obesity. I do think that trying to endorse obesity in this country is a very slippery slope, and I do think that it's not healthy and it's dangerous to actually try to endorse that within our society. I'll tell you an anecdote. Well, it's not an anecdote, it's not anything funny, but I'll tell you just a story from someone that was near and dear to my heart, my uncle, who passed away last year. And my uncle, I always considered him to be an elder. He was a builder, he was a doctor, he had his own practice, he owned houses. He was actually one of, I considered him to be one of my mentors. But if we could have an honest conversation, one of his biggest problems was the fact that he was overweight, morbidly obese. He was overweight. And as long as I knew him, he was actually overweight. And the reason why I point that out is because of the fact that I kind of wish I would have said something to him about his weight and encouraged him to actually lose some weight while he was alive. And I think that if he would have taken better care of himself, he would probably still be here today, because he was a hard worker. He worked very, very hard. He got up every morning, every week rather, to drive like a 300, trip, 600 round trip from California, from Riverside, California to Porterville, California, to go to his doctor's office and run his doctor's office. And he did that every single week for years. He did that. Got up like at 3:00 in the morning, drove out there, and he stayed out there, did his work, and came back to Riverside where he lived. So, that showed the commitment to that man in terms of how hard he worked. And he worked really, really, really hard. Literally, I think he worked himself to death. Because the day that he died, he got up to do what he usually does. And he got up to put on his clothes, and drive out to Porterville. And unfortunately, he dropped dead that day. And I think to myself that if he only took better care of himself, if he worked out more, ate better, didn't have all that weight on him, he probably would still be around today. He probably was. Because when he passed away, he wasn't a young man by any means. He was 70 years old, but I don't think that he was so old that those are things that couldn't have been managed. So that's part of the reason why I said what I said about Lizzo. Not to disparage fat people, not to disparage people that are overweight, not to disparage them, not to make them feel bad about themselves, but it is a genuine concern. And it's documented that living that kind of lifestyle leads to a lot of health problems. And you've had people in entertainment and regular life who, they died of ailments that were associated with the fact that a weight problem. James Gandolfini was one of them. The same exact thing with rapper Heavy D. Same exact thing with I'm trying to think of some other people. Rapper Heavy D. Yeah, I think he died of a heart attack. I know James Gandolfini, died of some heart. He had some heart problems, and you had other people as well who had other problems that were associated with the fact that they were overweight. So I'm not saying this to disparage Lizzo or to disparage anybody that's overweight and say that they're bad people or that they're useless people, because I don't believe that to be true at all. One of my favorite people in the world who passed away was a man that was morbidly obese. But I'm saying that to live a productive life and a healthier life, I think that's something that people should be concerned with. And usually when people, I think when people have those kind of problems, as we all do, we all have problems, including myself. I'll be the first one to sit up and say that I'm not perfect. It's always a symptom of a larger problem that is not being addressed, not being dealt with. And one of the things I've realized as I've gotten older is that we live in a society that's sick, and instead of it trying to figure out ways to help people heal and to get better and become better people and stronger people, we a lot of times enable them and coddle them and try to give them coping mechanisms as opposed to try to get to the root of the problem in order to deal with their issue. And that's basically what I was saying about, basically what I was trying to articulate about Lizzo and the entertainment industry propping up of this morbidly obese, obese woman. And she's not the only one. She's not the only one. You have her. You also have Rainn Wilson is somebody else. Chris Farley, who's the other person I was thinking of. Chris Farley died of a drug overdose. He died of a drug overdose, but he was morbidly obese. So, there is a long documented history with a lot of health problems associated with being overweight like that. And that's basically all I was trying to say. So, I'm not trying to disparage, her for being overweight. I'm not trying to disparage her for being overweight and saying that she's a horrible person and she's lazy and all those sort of things, because I do believe that she deserves the position that she's in, that she worked for it. I do think that. I just think it's a very dangerous and slippery slope to try to prop up and encourage people to not take care of themselves and to be healthy, because there are a lot of health problems associated with that. So anyway, I'm talking in circles, don't want to do that. But I just wanted to clarify that. So a lot of people thought that what I said was a little brash towards her, and I didn't want to come off as a hater and somebody that hates other people and hates another person's success, which I don't hate her success. I am happy for her. Okay, I'm happy that she's been given the opportunity that she's gotten. And like I said before, her acting and what she does is not my cup of tea. It isn't. And I respect that, and I respect what she's been able to accomplish. I just don't think that it's healthy to endorse, as I said before, obesity, considering all the health problems that are associated with it. So those are my 2 cents. This is Rob's Rants. Please subscribe, like the channel, leave your comments, and I will talk to you soon. Later.